Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. In this video we are going to see how we can create a brick wall like this in Rhino using grasshopper. First of all, we need a surface in Rhino, which is our basis of our brick pattern. So I'm going to click this surface, double click in grasshopper viewport and type surface. Choose this icon and right click on this, click on reparameterize, and again right click and hit set one surface. Now you have inserted the surface from Rhino to grasshopper, so I don't need it for now and I'm going to hide it. So the first step is to create different rows for our brick wall. So I'm going to double click here, type contour, and then connect the surface to the contour kit. We have three other parameters that we should define for our contour, and then double click here, type Z and click on unit Z. We have to define the direction of our contour process. So the direction is defined by n value, so I'm going to connect the unit Z to direction, and then we have to define the distance between each curve. So double click here, type 1 double dot, for example 30. I'm going to increase it, for example, to 9, and then I'll connect it to the distance. So as you can see, we have 9 rows on this surface. You can increase it or decrease it. Double click here, hit on R and click OK. Okay, so we have created our curves. The most important thing after that you have created the contour curves is to change this output to flatten, because we want one group that consists of these curves we have created. If you don't click on flatten, you have actually 9 rows, 9 groups, and each of them has just one object inside it. But we want one group consisting 9 curves. So double click here, type curve, or you can just click on this icon here and connect the contour to the curve. You have it here. The next step is to define 2 different lists of curves on this surface. So double click here, type dispatch, and connect the curves to dispatch. You have 2 parameters in the output part, and as you can see, if you hold your mouse on the A, you can see we have 5 planar curves here and 5 planar curves and 4 planar curves here. So again, we can have curves here. As you can see, when I click on each of them, different curves are selected. Again, we will dispatch these curves later, but now we want horizontal frames on this curve. Double click here, type horizontal frames, and then connect the curves to these frames. Control C, Control V, like that. And then we want the number that we should define on these curves. Double click here, type, for example 10 double dot 40. You can increase or decrease the number of our bricks here. For example, 15 I guess is enough for this project. And then double click here, type plane, or you can easily go to geometry and choose plane, like that. Okay, and then we are going to dispatch again And after that, we are going to again have some planes here. Okay, double click and hit plane. That's it. So as you can see, when I click on plane, we have the plane pattern over here. The next step is to create our box, which is our brick, and then we can change the dimensions of it. So double click here, type domain box, and as you can see, we have a tiny box here that we are going to change the dimensions of it. Double click here and type, for example, 1 double dot 40, hit enter, double click here, change it to R and hit OK. Control C, Control V, like that, and then you can increase the values. Okay, and then double click here, type deconstruct brep, because we want to choose the plane, the bottom plane of this brick. So I'm going to connect it to deconstruct brep, and then double click here, type list item, and as you can see, by default it's set to this part of this brick. Double click here and type 1 double dot 6, connect it to the index, and by increasing it, you can see that the force is the face that we want. So double click here, type XY plane, and again double click here and type area. You want this center, which is the center of this plane, and by connecting it to XY plane, you can define for grasshopper that we want this face with this center to be morphed on this surface. So this is our plane. Double click here, type orient. For the geometry parameter, you should connect the domain box, which is our brick, and the source plane is XY plane, and the target plane is the previous plane that we created together. So as you can see, you have bricks on this wall, but the dimensions are not cool. So I'm going to change this, for example, like that. Double click here, type 10. That's it. So as you can see, we have created this brick wall. The only step that is left is to right click here, hit on bake, group, and for example define it for layer 1, hit OK, minimize the grasshopper or close it, and you can see that you have created this brick wall. Right click here, hit it on Arctic. That's all. As you can see, you have created this brick wall. You can put this definition to any surface that you want. For example, this, and going to grasshopper window, and change this surface. That's all. You have your bricks. It's so easy to create anything you want using grasshopper and Rhino. The only thing that matters is to defining the correct dimensions for it. Again, bake it. And that's all. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. You can ask any questions that you want in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Stay tuned with me. We are going to have lots of tutorials about Rhino, grasshopper, and so on. Thank you for watching.